You're listening to Rock-N-Sexxy UnCensored, bringing you the cutting edge of the entertainment world weekly, hosted by Lynn.
All right, everybody. Happy Thursday, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Rock-N-Sexxy UnCensored, broadcasting on the United Broadcasting Network, Channel 1 at UBNGO, and live streaming on our blog weekly at rocknsexyuncensored.com. I'm your host, Lynn. It is my great pleasure to be in the house with you guys tonight, and joining me live is Joe Williamson.
Hey, Amber. You look absolutely gorgeous as always.
Well, thank you, Joe. I really appreciate your compliments. RNSU works overtime to bring you cutting-edge talent from the music and entertainment world. And tonight, our special guest joining us now, live in the studio. This talented actor started out as a UCLA student and working as a waiter while pursuing his dream of acting. His break came doing commercials such as the famed Got Milk commercial, directed by Michael Bay in 1991. And his film break was Wes Craven's cult classic film, The People Under the Stairs. Since then, he is also known for numerous TV shows such as Friends and Shannon's Deal and Grace Under Fire. Other films he's known for, Never Been Kissed, opposite Drew Barrymore, Rob Zombie's Three from Hell, and his more current work in The Headless Horseman with Michael Pere. He's got his upcoming directorial debut in the film Crust, which he also stars in along with our friend Daniel Roebuck, Felisa Rose, Rebecca Kennedy, Ricky Dean Logan, Subha Agarwal. I hope I got that right.
Yeah.
Please welcome to RNSU tonight. We're so happy to have him in the house. Sean Whalen is with us.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
We are so happy to have you in the house.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
So let's talk about a little bit about your background, how you got started, and your struggle.
Well, I was a youngest of four, and so my acting debut came when I wanted to entertain my older brothers and sisters so I wouldn't have to do the dishes after dinner. So as long as I kept them entertained, they wouldn't realize that I wasn't doing any work. I wasn't scrubbing the pots or loading the dishwasher or anything like that. And then finally, I'd trip down the stairs, I'd fall over the chairs and make funny faces. And then finally, one day they realized that, they just left some stuff for me. I go, wait, you guys didn't finish? They're like, no, you have to do those. And I thought, I got to find a new audience. So in fifth grade, I directed and starred in a thing of Rumpelstiltskin, and the school, when I came out to do my curtain call, erupted, and I thought, this is for me. So I kept doing it. I played Tiny Tim at a big local theater in Maryland. Went to high school, and then I got into the UCLA theater department. It was like one of 18 kids across the nation.
So you wanted to be an actor?
I did.
Other words. Okay.
Yeah, I did
That
at an
was
early
one of my main
age.
questions. I wanted to know: did you want to be an actor?
I didn't really know until I thought I was going to either be a teacher, but then when I got into high school, I loved theater. I was in every production. I sang, I danced, I did everything in all the shows as much as I could, and then I thought, I really want to pursue this. When I got to UCLA, I loved my acting teacher, but it was way far back in the end of campus. And, I got a lot of attention because I got a part with Daphne Zuniga. Do you remember her from Melrose Place and Spaceballs? And we were in a play together, and I got a lot of attention for that. And people were asking me to read stuff and things like that. And I think it was just overwhelming for me because I just came from Maryland, and I think I just wasn't ready. And Jenna Fisher talks about that in her book. She has an acting book from The Office. And it was the same kind of feeling, like the attention was too fast, and I didn't really love the department and how it worked, and people were kind of snotty to me because most juniors and seniors did not get, juniors and seniors got all the parts, freshmen did not. And I got a part, and they were like, who do you think you are? You know what I mean, kind of thing. And I didn't love the vibe, and so I left.
Did you have to audition for the part?
Yeah.
Did you get it? Or
well, here's the thing. The part was for a kid. So I've always played 10 to 15 years younger than I actually am. Always, my whole life. So when I was in high school, I looked like I was 10 years old, you know? So when I got to college, the part was of like a 16-year-old kid. And I was 18, and the guy I was reading against looked like he was like Paul Bunyan. And I was like, dude, I have to suck balls not to get this part because I look young. And I was good. I mean, I'm not saying I wasn't good, but I got the part, I think, because I looked really young. They needed a young-looking guy, and I really fit the bill, and I had the goods, and so I got the part. So it was kind of a silly thing for people to be mad about because they needed a kid. The part was of a kid, and I looked like a kid. But yeah, I auditioned, and
this is for a theater production.
This is a theater production at
Okay.
UCLA, yeah. And then I got a lot of people came and heard about me, and I read for like The Mask, that Cher movie, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I remember, and I just remember sitting in all these producers just going, "What am I doing?" You know, like it was just too much.
And they were coming to UCLA to get you to read.
Kind of like, well, no, they heard about me, and so I'd drive around. People would drive me to Hollywood and stuff like that to do these things, and it was just too much too fast. And I think,
But because of your
because it could be,
uniqueness.
yeah, because yes, exactly, 100%.
So your direction of focus in your early career or your early start, was it TV? Was it theater?
I
was
know.
it film?
Well, then I left the department. I started a fraternity with some friends, and I had a great experience at UCLA. And I was kind of like, I'm from Maryland. I want to go to UCLA. I don't want to go to this little theater box at the back of the,
And you're working as a waiter, and you're kind of just like,
Well, I didn't work as a waiter yet. I was working on school jobs. But then when I graduated, someone turned me on to the Groundling Theater, and that's obviously well-known comedy theater that, you know, Will Ferrell, and I was in it with Lisa Kudrow. So many, Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
So many people went to the Groundlings. Kristen Wiig, like they all came from the Groundlings, and I was in that program, and so my focus was comedy, like comedy, sketch comedy. I loved it. And then most of the commercials I got from that point they were all comedic. Everything was really, really gearing towards comedy. And then I didn't get into their main company. I was in their Sunday show for a year and a half, and I thought, gosh, what am I going to do? But I went to audition, and I was really bad, and I thought, I got to get real training for all acting. So the irony is I loved comedy the most, and I've probably done more dramatic work than I've done comedy. So it's
not necessarily what you're focused on. Your direction of focus is necessarily what's going to come your way.
You never know. You know, as you never know what comes across. People always go, "How did you get into horror movies?" And I go, "It was the audition that came across the desk that day." Because the week before, I just did, you know, a comedy on TV. So it's just what comes in. So that was really the focus, was to not just box myself into comedy, but learn all of acting. And so I went to Playhouse West, run by Robert Carnegie, and Jeff Goldblum was a person who started it. I got to take classes from him.
You just got thrown in the pond.
Yeah, well, I really wanted to pursue. I wanted to pursue it, and then so I had the commercials going, and then I did a comedy. My first comedy was on Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the series. And
I remember that.
Do you remember Charlie Slaughter? Charlie Slaughter. You remember Charlie Slaughter?
It was such a great.
Yeah, like a fun little show. And my scenes were with Cloris Leachman.
Oh, nice.
That was
my God.
first, like.
I have a funny story. God bless her.
She is crazy,
crazy
funny.
Crazy,
she was crazy, lovely, but
wonderful.
she would come. She was such a health nut, and look, she lived a long, healthy, energetic life. So maybe we should take it.
She was amazing.
But
she goosed me at Chiller Theater about 5 years ago.
Oh
right?
my God!
She just came up behind me, and I was wearing this bathing suit for the show one day, and she came up behind me. and somebody goosed me, and I thought it was a fan as we were walking in, and we were all sharing that room together.
Yes.
And I turned around and I go, I almost fell down. I said, Claire, she really like got a little pinch, and they were like,
no, she's wild. Like she came out, she would go to our
said,
table.
If you're gonna float it, honey, I'm gonna take a, you know. And I was like, oh my God. And then we became like best friends.
She's so fun.
After that.
Like she would come up to our table and just get like, we'd have those white rolls or whatever. She goes, this is gonna kill you, and she would just rip it apart and throw it away.
Right.
She goes, don't eat that crap. Come on, you deserve better. She was, I mean, like a forefront of healthy eating for a long time. And yeah, so then I got People Under the Stairs, and it did really well, and I felt like I did well in it. And
this was your first.
This was my first role in a film.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think the difference is between, just from now with all the expertise and experience that you have behind you now, the difference between TV and film?
Well, TV just moves faster. You just don't have the time.
It's smaller bites.
Smaller.
Right?
Well, it's not necessarily smaller bites. It's just they have to move. They don't have time. Now in movies, with independent movies, it's the same as TV.
Right.
You know, smaller movies, smaller independent movies move just as fast as television. And
they're shot in just a couple of days.
Yeah.
Episode is just a couple of days.
Well, like
It's
5
almost
days.
porn.
Like
It's the
5
whole
days.
thing in a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and they make tons of money off of it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And
yeah.
then they put like millions of dollars into these epic films. And,
Right.
Right?
Yeah. And People Under the Stairs was great, and it did well. It was #1 for 6 weeks, but
How did you get the film? Because we have a lot of new actors out there, and they're going. How did you get a big break like that in a Wes Craven production?
Yeah,
as just a young, unknown actor.
I think it was, again, I was. It was for like a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, and I was 27, and that helps. Because it's easier to direct a 27-year-old than it is a 16-year-old, because they have hours and limits and all that other stuff that they have to deal with. But I had done comedy, and then I had done dramatic, but I had a coach, Mark Spiegel, who was so great. And I went to him, and I remember going, oh, it's just like crawling around screaming and stuff. And he goes, no, this is a lot more. There's a lot more. He's brave. He's trying to help people. But he was kind of a hero that just didn't know he was a hero. You know, he was a great, nice character. I was only on the screen for like 10 minutes, but it was so iconic because you think I'm a really scary person, then you see him like a hero, and then I die like a martyr.
And your character was Roach.
Roach, yeah.
This is Roach, and he had this, and I love that character. And
yeah.
he had the scary hair.
Yeah.
Right?
And the long
It's
fingers.
such a high impact character. And even now to this day, like I was saying, if you go
People
and
love
look
it.
you up, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Now joining whatever film you want to talk about today, Rob Zombie's 3 is Sean Whalen from Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs. And I couldn't believe that, because to make such an impact coming out of the chute like that, and it's lasted your entire career. Most people are like, don't talk about that first.
Right. Oh, I was super proud.
Right?
But and it's, if it was done at a different time, my career would have done really well. We were #1 at the box office for 6 weeks, but horror just wasn't as popular as it was now. So it wasn't like that was not my big break, because it was one of his smaller films. It's the ones that people love, who know it, but most people know him from Freddy or from Scream, and so it was great. But I thought, oh, here I go, and then it didn't really kick off.
Street, right?
And then a couple years later, when I got the Got Milk commercial with Michael Bay, that's when things really kind of started to take off, because a girl in my acting class said, oh, your life's going to change. And I said, why? And she goes, well, I work at Amblin Entertainment, Steven Spielberg's company, and Steven loves that commercial. And I thought, oh, okay. And she goes, yeah, but he uses...
Everybody loved that commercial.
Yeah.
They made T-shirts, and it just turned into like girls wearing Got Milk and the whole thing, and it just never, it took on a whole life of its own.
It totally did. It was a California commercial. It was only for California, and it was the milk board was run by a farmer, and the farmer goes, you just be as creative as you want, because no business, and Joe, you both probably know this, but a corporation would never do a commercial about Aaron Burr. And, because they would be like, well, no one knows that, and we can't do that. They'd be so worried about everything, and this guy just goes, just go be creative. And because it was so iconic and did so well that the National Milk Board bought it. Nice. And then it went from a California milk commercial to a national commercial. And that's when Spielberg saw it, and they said he would use me. And a couple years later, that's when I auditioned for Twister. Nice. But when the milk commercial killed my commercial career, and that was my bread and butter. I used to make all my money on commercials, and no one would hire me after that because it was so well known.
Can we talk a little bit about Twister? Can you?
Yes, well, it was funny because
perfect lead in.
Perfect lead in.
Right?
Perfect lead in. It's like twisting into the.
Let's just. There you go.
So no, the milk commercial made me very popular in that way, and I was getting some other roles. I got Batman Returns with Tim Burton, right. And then I went into.
And they're like, I know this guy from the milk commercial.
Yeah, and I went in, and it was Steven Spielberg was executive producing Twister, and it was kind of like you could tell I was going to get it no matter what, because I went in. We had no real lines. We had Philip Seymour Hoffman's lines, but we were all just like, look over there. Man, that's huge. It's coming from over there.
I remember.
Turn on there. It was just, that's all our lines were. And I sat down, and the casting director goes, listen, he's very hot right now. He's in Batman. Well, they had a new Batman at the time, and I was just about to say, no, I'm not in the new one. I was in the one a few years ago. I go, oh. I'm gonna shut up.
Shut up. That's why you have to
right? Like you can't, like you're not gonna go, no, I'm not in the brand new hot one. I'm in the old stale one, So I shut up, and then I got on the team, and it was really, really cool. And when I got there, they, it was obvious that we were there to serve. It felt like we were there to serve the special effects, because ILM had just done Jurassic Park, and they wanted a fun roller coaster ride like Jurassic Park, but something different, and they really wanted to try the Twisters themselves because they're really hard to animate.
Right.
And so because we felt that way, we're all like, we'll just have fun. And now people love our characters because we were just having fun. We didn't take it so seriously because we thought, well, we're here to serve the big special effect action part,
Right.
And so we relaxed. And so because we relaxed and had fun, I think you saw that we were really friends and having a good time and enjoyed ourselves. And now when I hear people talk about the movie, they don't talk about the special effects. They talk about us and how, our funny lines and how we got along really well. And, we brought stuff from our real life into the movie. There's a famous part where Philip Seymour Hoffman and I are going, food. And that we used to do this thing all the time together. We hung out and went thrift shopping together and antique shopping, and we would go, hey, Phil, hey, Sean, and we just put that in the movie for fun. And I think that's why people enjoyed our characters, because we weren't really stressed out. We were like, all right, we know who we are. We're here to serve. And I think that's what made our camaraderie really cool.
At one point in your acting career, did you start to really believe in your own worth as an actor?
About 6 months ago.
Where you said, hey, I'm doing this, and I'm creating this success, because it happened for you like relatively fast.
Well,
like,
it was.
1991, you got a couple
of
really good, strong breaks. I mean, a lot of people.
I started Groundlings in winter of '87. I got my first SAG commercial in '89, and then the People Under the Stairs was in '91. So, right. And that's when I was able to quit waiting tables. That I was waiting tables at that time when I was at Groundlings. But it was interesting because when you're a waiter, you'll hear
I can really do this. I'm doing this.
It's funny. I was scared though, because you're as a waiter actor, you're always walking around going, when I get out of this job, I'm gonna kick butt as an actor. And then finally you get it and you go, oh no, I can't complain anymore. I have to actually do it and actually make a living at it, and I can't sit back in the safety of my waiter job and go, I should be on screen. And now you're like, oh crap, now I have to do it. And it was a little freaky, but I did well in high school, relatively easy. And I thought, well, of course I'm going to do it. And I thought, I'm going to get on a few sitcoms and I'll be working for the rest of my life. The 90s was like that. It was like that. But then in the 2000s, everything changed when, well, you know, the corporations bought Hollywood, and the corporations came in and went, we don't want to take these big risks. Let's do stuff people know. So they did sequels and comic book movies, and you know what I mean, and old TV shows.
Oh, really? That's
well,
how it changed.
Yeah,
because I know that there was a big change
in the early 2000s.
The early 2000s, there was a big change in everything.
In
Grunge,
everything.
Music changed.
Yeah.
It went from rock and roll, and then it became like a whole new genre of it. And then everybody started going, and there was a whole time where people really didn't know the direction that everything was going.
Right.
And it was all being guessed. You know, what's going to be.
And then 9/11 shook up the world in a way that, like, I don't think anyone really realized. And then writer strikes, and it was just it was a strange time. And the corporations basically said, look, the people who are paying are the stars, and everyone else, you're getting scale, and which is our minimum. And we were building quotes in the 90s. We were building like craftsmen, and the casting directors would say, oh, well, they're craftsmen. And the corporation said, they're not putting any butts in seats. You know, the star is. So they're getting the bare minimum. And it was like, whoa, this is kind of strange. You know, it was a whole new way out there. You used to be able to book a few things, and you'd be able to make a living, you know, and then all of a sudden it really changed. So what slowly started to shift is in the 90s.
Why did we allow them to get away with that is what I want to know.
Well, I mean,
when they turned that, why was there no? Wait a minute, this is
well,
bullshit.
I think Screen Actors Guild and all this stuff is kind of like, we just want to keep our actors working, and so they never want to piss anyone off, you know. And then Canada got into the mix and said, we're going to do shooting up here, and they said, you know, no American actors really can come up here easily. And of course, our response.
No, they don't allow that. I know that when that era happened, because I used to go up and entertain all over Canada, and then all of a sudden they were like, they have this law or whatever now that says you cannot be an American who takes a job away from a Canadian if a Canadian can do it.
Yep.
So you really have to be like, unless you can fly around a room and shoot fire out of your ass, and no other Canadian can. You know, you have to be that specialized, because it's not just about your name. And then, of course, they have their own, you know, full run of, you know, Pamela Anderson and all these people that are Canadian.
And they're coming here.
And they're coming here to work. And I always said the same thing. I go, wow, we accept your people with open arms.
That 100%. I really believe the response. Because the response should have been, okay, then no Canadians come here. That we should have just done that, and then that crap would have stopped.
Because it wasn't like we didn't have 10,000 blondes in California who could have filled the you know, the boots of the bikinis of the playmates.
I mean, 100%.
But we have always been that way, I think, as Americans, and then, you know,
it always messes. I mean, it. I think those kind of things hurt the industry, because if SAG would have stood up and said, you know, we're not accepting Canadians, there's no way the Canadian actors would have gone berserk.
And then they formed their own shooting, and they're doing all of that. And now, what about New York? New York has opened up.
Yeah, New York. Well, I think, you know, there's always just trends in Hollywood. So it's like, back in the day, it was, oh, he's a New York theater actor. You know, he's a well-trained actor. That was for a long time, 70s, 80s, 90s. And then it was, oh, the hot place is Chicago.
Well, that is
Chicago.
a big deal to be
of course.
In the left coast,
of
or the
course.
West Coast, is to be a New York trained theater actor. I mean, we do.
There is a pedigree that comes with that.
There is a pedigree that comes with that.
And but then it was Chicago was the hot thing, because David Schwimmer from Friends, and then Second City got hot again, and then it was.
And I was happy to see that too, to see it kind of evolve.
But then Australia became the hot place, and now every English person in the world is playing Americans. You know, like you know, you see every movie has got so many Brits in it that are playing Americans. We're like, man, what are we not doing? You know, they're always looking for the next hot thing, and they're like, oh, now we're into British people. You know what I mean? So you have to ride those out.
Yeah.
But they're also very well trained too, because of the West End and the whole thing. So it's not like a bad thing. You just have to be able to go, this is the new trend. How do I respond? But the good thing is, what kids have now, they cannot make the money we made in the 90s. They just can't.
I don't think you can do it with anything, though. I think that the
everything's
financial
low.
restitution has changed all the way across the board.
You can make monies in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, I mean, even like doing shows in Vegas and doing the magic shows, the dancing shows, any of it, the amount of money that could be made. And I think what happened was they saw all the money that was being made, and they said, why the hell are we paying all these people when we could just oversaturate the market with, a bazillion, and then the agents came in. You didn't even you needed an agent, but you could have handled it.
Well, I think it's mainly that exactly what you're saying. That's what the corporation says, because they go, why would we pay big amounts of money with such a high risk thing? It's no one knows if a movie or a show is going to do well, so why pay a lot of money? Well, it's because we don't work all the time,
Right.
We audition.
It's a highly specialized talent to be a great actor. It really is. I mean, it's not like people think that everybody can do it, and a lot of people act, but do a lot of people act in a way where they can bring you to your knees in that theater, where you're just either crying or laughing or just at the end of your seat. And there really isn't that many people who can bring it in like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's having the talent and then the training, But that's just like sports. I mean, it's the same thing. You wouldn't. So many people just go, hey, can I be in your movie? Can I be in your movie? Would you walk on a basketball team and go, hey man, can I play on your professionals? What do you mean? You got to go through the college thing and go through,
And some of the people have a special uniqueness about them, which they bring to the table just being who they are. Which means that you can
100%.
But
most,
I was going to say that about you. Coming from the East Coast, you had such a unique look and dynamic. And in a coming to Los Angeles, where in the 90s, everybody was like tan. And, right? They had on their dolphin shorts and their whole, and then you had this whole unique look, and they're looking for somebody different. Right.
I had long spiked hair, like you were talking about in Roach, and I did not do it to go, ooh, I need to find a look. That was me. I thought spiked hair was cool. I liked it, and I had a skinny face, and I looked like
punk rocker look.
Yeah, and I had, but I have a Stan Laurel face. Like I have a I do. Not bad, right? Not bad.
You could do that.
See, I could do that. But so these commercial directors would go, oh, he's got like this deadpan Stan Laurel with a punk hair. So I did have a unique look, but it wasn't. Look, I was blissfully ignorant. I was just having fun. If I would have sat down and went, the stats about how many actors don't make it and did it, I never would have made it. If I would have thought about how hard it was or how the percent...
You would have fed into the fear.
Yep, 100%.
And the negative.
Yep.
The monkey that sits on your shoulder and says, you can't do this.
Yes, 100%.
You can't. You're terrible. There he is.
There he is. There's the guy. Yep.
So we want to touch just a little bit about Rob Zombie. Working with Rob Zombie, I mean, everybody loves Rob, and he's done tons and tons of projects.
He's so great. I had a friend, Brandon Trost, who was his DP for a while, and him and his brother did. Jason Trost and his wife, Talay Wickham, do the FP, which is a really funny concept. If you like fun cult movies, this stuff is great. It's about a dystopian society in the future that are not fighting for oil or water or land. They're fighting for booze. And the way they fight for booze is to do Dance Dance Revolution, which they call Beat Beat Revelation.
And this is Three from Hell.
This is no. This is the Trost brothers who did that, and then their sister is an amazing costume artist. And so they put me in that movie, and then Brandon said, oh, you should see the FP, the movie we made. Showed Rob Zombie, and he goes, oh, I know that guy. I like that guy. And then 5 weeks later, I remember sitting in a restaurant, and there was a call. They said, Rob Zombie requested you to be in Halloween 2. And I flew out there, and it was such a kind of a weird blessing because it rained really hard. I was in it with Tyler Main, Scout Taylor Compton, but it rained so hard on the scene we were going to shoot that it had to be outside. Rob and I just sat under this tent and talked movies for like 4 hours. And he knows so much, and we just got to know each other really, really well. And then
he is an amazing talent because he's a musician and amazing.
An entertainer.
And then he has this completely other dynamic.
Yeah.
So, and most people aren't blessed like
Right.
that. They either are a great entertainer and a
Right.
musician and they go in this direction, or they're a filmmaker and they're an actor and they're
Yeah.
in this direction. But he just seems to be able to cross back and forth across that line.
And he's so
Which
humble.
I don't know anybody who can
Yeah.
do that with the greatest of ease.
Yeah.
The way Rob Zombie.
Yeah, and he's so, and him and Sherry are just the sweetest
And him
people.
and Sherry together.
So sweet.
What they project entertainment value wise, you know, she's in all of his projects and you can just see that there's a seamless.
And unlike Hollywood couples, they've been together the whole time. You know, they've
Maybe
lasted.
that's what it is.
I
that
think it
there's
is working
that,
together.
That humbleness that's underneath it all. Not
Yes.
like me. No.
You're humble. You're one of the
I'm
humblest
so
people out
humble.
there.
I'm
No, you
completely
are.
Right. I'm humble.
She's
I'm
humble.
I got some humble pie in the fridge waiting for me as soon as I get out of here. And then Harley Wallen is one of our favorite directors.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's throw him in
Yes.
the mix with all these other great directors that we're talking about.
Yeah.
He's been on the show several times, and we were really excited to see you had done the films with him, Beneath Us All.
And
Yep.
Finding Nicole.
And
Finding Nicole, and I just signed on for the sequel to Ash and Bone 2. So
We had Katie Wallen on, and she was
she's
the
so
star.
sweet too.
She
And
was the
same
star of
thing,
Finding
couple that work
Nicole.
together.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was it like to work with Harley?
Well,
With
I met him through Jan Birch. Jan Birch had
Uh-huh.
done a couple films. He's like, you got to meet him. And I think, you know, it was mutually like, oh, we should meet each other. And I went to a premiere. We met there. And then we started talking and hanging out. And we had a really good time. And then I was supposed to do something.
Tales to Tales.
Tale of Tales.
when the pandemic
and
hit.
then it was a pandemic hit, and then I was fine gonna go, but then there was kind of more of a surge right when he was about to shoot. My wife has lung issues, and so I backed out, and I thought, God, he's never gonna hire me again. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna keep that against you. And so then he had this next movie, and he offered me that role. And what I loved about him is he knows acting 100%. He's very well studied, and so we could really he's open to talking about a character. I really worked hard creating a unique character, so much so that when my wife saw it, she goes, "I've seen you in every character. I could see like Sean in every character." She goes, "I don't even know who you are in this movie. Like you're so different. You're so dark," and it's really nice because also in Hollywood. They say, of course you could play like a mean foster dad, or of course you could play a lawyer. And then they go, well, cast me as one. They're like, well, you know. But now you show them, you know, and now Hollywood, so you have to go show them, you know.
Right.
You know this now. Like it used to be you'd sell a movie on a pitch. Now and then it was a script. Then it was a script and like a little sizzle reel of the movie. Now you have to do the movie. You have to shoot the movie and sell it that way, you know. That's mainly what's been going on. You have to create your own stuff.
And one thing I loved about that character you created was it wasn't just like one of those, you know, sometimes they have, okay, it's an evil stepdad.
Yeah.
You know, no redeeming. At the end, you brought a lot of redeeming values.
Right.
And you made it where you actually cared about him, which I thought
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah. I mean, it was probably one of the hardest things because I just thought I'm not going to get these opportunities that often. And so it's almost like getting paid to really do an excellent acting class where you can try something that you just don't get to try very often. Hollywood tries to keep putting you in a box, and you have to fight your way.
Well, they also typecast you.
Yeah, typecast, and you have to
become great for the people, you know,
Yeah,
under
under
the
the
stairs.
stairs.
They're going to talk about that.
Oh, the milk
forever.
commercial. The milk commercial. I did so many things with just facial expressions. After jury duty was all facial expressions. They wanted me to, even in Twister, they're like, "Hey man, take that steak and shove it in your mouth." You know. I mean, people want to use you for what they know, and so you have to educate people
Or
on
just
what
put a
they
little
don't
something
know.
in there because they want people to recognize that.
Right.
Right.
But you have to educate them what they don't know.
Well, something new is going on now.
Yes.
You're
Speaking of comfort zone.
Right, comfort zone, getting out of your comfort zone. You're embarking on a new phase in your career, and this is your directorial debut.
I did a short years ago with Roger Donaldson, Marlisa Schneider. It was one
Does
I
it
wrote.
count? Does it count?
I mean, it was a short film. It's my feature film directorial
Okay.
debut for sure. But this one I had gone through a divorce, we moved we had to sell our house, and my daughters had been in this house their whole lives, and we were celebrating the holidays in an apartment, and I just felt like a failure. Went through a really big depression, and I was in a very low place, and then I got myself out of it, and when I was done, I was kind of angry. Like, I had weird feelings. I had a lot of anger and strange, and I wasn't mad at anything, and I didn't know what, but a lot of people go say, oh, you should have had a pet. I go, a pet? I can't get out of bed in the morning. I can't, like, I didn't know if, I'd stand in front of the front door going, should I go to that yoga class or not? Like, I was in a bad way. And I said, I couldn't have taken her pet. I go, but it'd be fun to have a pet that, got rid of all my enemies. That would have been a fun pet. And then I thought, oh, this is a fun idea. And I had this idea years ago about a guy who collects the socks left over in a laundromat. He's lonely, he's sad, and he uses those socks to wipe all his fluids, ears, blood, sperm, everything, and he puts it in a pile, and it becomes like a big crusty pile. And one day he gets bullied, and he cries on him, and the tear actually activates the sock pile into a sock creature that starts to avenge all his enemies, unbeknownst to him at first. Wow. And then, unbeknownst to him at first, and then he finds out that it's doing it, and that's where the thing turns. He has a new relationship with his with a new woman. He has a reboot of his old show that he was on because he's a child actor. He's got all these things happening with this kind of secret creature happening, but the only thing is the creature gets really, really angry and doesn't like people not being nice to him.
We have a teaser reel on it, right, guys?
From the Indiegogo.
You want to have a look at it? All right,
yeah. This is from the Indiegogo, me talking about it a little bit, I think.
We'll give you a little tease.
Hi, I'm Sean Whalen, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the origin of my creature feature horror comedy called Crust. I've always wanted to write and star in a project, and I didn't know what it was going to be. And after I had a pretty fine divorce, it wasn't a bad one, but we did move out of the house for 18 years, and I was in my new apartment in the fall, and the holidays were coming, and my daughters weren't raised in an apartment and had to face the holidays. I got really depressed, and when I came out the other end, I had a lot of anger and weird feelings, and I didn't know where they came from, and I was trying to sort it out, but all these people said, oh, you should have had a pet. You should have had a pet. And I was like, a pet? I can't even figure out how to walk out the door. I'd stand staring at my door going, should I go to that yoga class or not? I mean, I was freaking out. I was a mess. And then I thought, yeah, I'd love a pet if it was something that could take care of my enemies for me and kill all the jerks in my life. And then I went, oh my God. So I came up with a story of a sad child actor who works in a laundromat and takes all the leftover socks and uses it as rags for, his sweat, his snot, spit, earwax, other fluids, just, using them all the time, throwing them in a little pile. And then one time when he's abused, he cries in them and it comes to life and it becomes the creature Crust, who loves him so much and is fighting for him and they go through a lot of stuff together. He's a child actor. He has a reboot of a TV show. He's dealing with a new relationship, an ex-wife, and through all this, him and Crust deal with the fact that Crust gets angry sometimes, really angry, and takes it out on others. But the soul of filmmaking for me...
Okay, Sean Whalen. We are over budget, over time. Hi, I am Sean Whalen's best friend, Felissa Rose, and I am the producer of this here amazing movie, and we can't wait to bring it to life. Crust. Doesn't this take place in a laundromat?
Yeah, it does take place in a laundromat.
So then why the hell are we here? Don't you want to meet the cast? I'll bring us to a laundromat. How did we get here? Producers have magic.
Magic like Harry Potter type magic?
Yeah, anyhow, I think everyone really wants to meet the cast.
Ooh, we're excited to show you. Ready? Yay. So then we introduce you to the cast, and then and that's the Indiegogo campaign. You can find it at Indiegogo, and then you just put in the movie Crust or at Crust Movie. There's a link to the Indiegogo. We want to make it's
There's some great perks involved, by the way, guys.
Yes.
I was just talking to him about it before the show. As a matter of fact, if you make a certain donation, you can actually get
a signed pair of socks, signed socks. You can get, what we're really trying to push is a special thanks. So you can be a part of movie history because, it's an original movie. What are they doing? They're doing Toy Story 5. They're doing Frozen 3. It's all these sequels.
Another Spider-Man.
This is all original content. And it's it's fresh. It's a blast. And you can be a part of it and be in the special thanks and the credit for only $25, or you get a signed sock. And the coolest part
I want to know the big money. Where's the big money?
The big money is
It's doing very well. They've already gone
over our
over
initial
what their
goal.
expectation was, and
Yes.
so it's getting rave review.
And what happens if you get
on
1,000 special thanks?
If we get 1,000 special thanks, I have told my fans that I will either get a drag queen to do me totally over in drag and do a drag show.
I want to see that.
Or
I might have to get that one.
See that?
Just
or
to see you.
Or I can do. I will.
Can we have him on the show? Would
yes,
you come on the show?
That would be great.
We could get him in drag and then bring him on the show.
There you go. And then I would. Then
I don't know. Tony doesn't need the competition, right?
Yeah, and then.
Wait a minute.
Or else I'll paint my body head to toe, like body paint special, or I'll get a man wax in my bathing suit area. So either one, I will choose. I will get a Brazilian wax, and so if we get 1,000, and I think we're near to 100. So if everyone buys a special thanks, I will do one of those and obviously film it. Obviously, the man wax I can.
How do they decide which 3? Is it a vote or?
What's that?
How do you?
I'm going to do a vote to see which people. I'm going to do a vote on my social media of which most people have voted for drag. Most people have voted for drag. So I don't know why you don't want to see my man wax. I'm just, whatever. But I'm not taking it personally. Yes, I'm Irish. Okay, so.
Are you sure you didn't have something to do with that, where he's kind of steering him in that direction?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
No, my wife is.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding. My wife is like, go for the man wax, please. No, I'm kidding. But yeah. So it's just being a part of something fun. It's investing in something that's fun. I'm not making this. Here's the real pitch, which is. People are like, well, I've met with producers that are like, oh, we need it on the shelves of Walmart and International and all this stuff. And I said, I'm not making it for them. I'm making it for the guy or girl who comes home. They flip through Netflix. They see our poster of this weird sock monster movie. They've had maybe an adult gummy or an adult beverage or two. And they're like, come on, let's watch this thing. And they love it. And because I came from a cult movie. People Under the Stairs is a cult movie.
Right.
And Felissa Rose is from Sleepaway Camp. It's my favorite cult movie. So I want to make not everybody knows Little Shop of Horrors or God, what's the one everyone goes to at midnight? Rocky Horror Picture Show.
And
but
that,
the people
think about that and the lifespan that it's had.
But
right?
people who love it, and I'm making something
yeah.
so I don't need everybody to love it. I just want the people who love these kind of fun movies to love it. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm looking. I'm making it for my fans who followed me in comedy, in horror. I'm making it for them, and for people who just like I said, a late night drunk or stone movie that they want to share with their friends. That's what I'm making it for.
So when is it going to release?
It will.
When are we looking forward to seeing this?
It will take, as Joe knows, if we shoot it in April, we'll have it edited we have in our contract to have it done by like September. And, it would probably take a little while if we sell it to go into probably sometime in 2014.
Okay.
It'll take but it's just like, making ice cream and you go, I don't know where I'm going to sell it. It may go to Whole Foods or you don't know. People ask me, where can I see it? And I go, I don't know yet. We don't know until we sell it, but it will be available somehow, or I'll just release it myself on a website. I'll do whatever.
And you can get to the Indiegogo campaign by going right to.
You can go at Sean Whalen Actor. It's in my bio, and it's also if you go at Crust Movie, you'll see the Indiegogo right there. Click on it. Yes, there's a lot of fun perks that we have. We have Felissa Rose convention experience. I think I'm going to have a convention. You could sit at our table during a con.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
exciting.
really
too.
fun.
Yeah.
You come to a convention
so
with
there are
us.
things with some of the other actors
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
So what is a convention experience?
A convention experience is you get to hang out. Well, the big one is Felissa goes to so many that you get to literally hang with her Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at her table. You get to go to the VIP parties. You get to have meals with her.
A lot of fans
drinks.
would really like that.
Yeah, really like that. And I'm
Yeah.
doing one for because I don't go out as many, and plus I'll be working a lot on the movie. But I have one in July that sit at my table for half a day. Same thing. We'll have a meal together. We'll have a drink. You'll get signed autographs of maybe a Blu-ray of the movie, things like that. So I just think that the creature. I'll show you the creature after. But it's.
Did you bring him with you?
I have a little video of it. It's in my man wax. No, I'm kidding. It's hidden in my man wax. I mean, my unmanned wax.
And so is this what your focus is for right now? Is just
Yeah,
getting this project
it's
done?
unbelievable. I kind of thought it would be. I thought this year, I thought, man, I'm gonna have to be working. But I get up at my producer calls me. We start talking. Dan Kearney and I start talking at 6 a.m. And I go to the gym, and then I come back, and I'm working all day because you never know what's coming in.
Right.
You're working on a casting thing, or you're working on someone says, "Oh, let's do an Indiegogo thing." Joe knows all this stuff.
Yes, and then also, though, you are going to be acting in Ash and Bone too.
Yes, I'm going to be
you'll also be doing
right.
that.
Yes.
Well,
so
one
I
of
will
the
have
things
to,
I wanted to ask you about is Daniel Roebuck is also going to be in
Yes.
Sock Monster,
Yes,
right?
it's Crust. Yeah.
Oh, and Crust. And Sock.
AK, no, and you know what
Sorry,
you know what the tagline is? Sometimes life sucks.
So Daniel Roebuck,
Yes.
what's it like to work with him?
He and I met in a lobby after he did The Late Shift, the movie where he played Jay Leno. Is
Which
it
was
Night Shift or
awesome,
Late
his
Shift?
role
Was
in
it Night
also.
Shift or Late Shift? I think it's Late
I
Shift.
think so.
It was Late Shift, and I sat down and I just went up to him and I just said, "I loved you so much. You were so fantastic." He was so friendly back. It was great. And then we were on Wizards of Waverly Place, and I remember sitting down across from him, and Disney Channel was like, it's the kids show thing. But we sat across from each other. I go, "What are you doing here?" And he looks at me and goes, "What are you doing here?" And then we just started laughing so hard, and we had such a good time on that.
Such the friendliest.
He's such a great
humble,
guy.
down to earth, and
Such a great
talent,
and we became fast friends. We did Lost together. We did Rob's movies together. We didn't shoot on the same days, but he's always been super supportive of me. We became really good friends through good times, bad times, tough times, and when I asked him to do this, I said, "Listen, I don't want to give you a huge part if you don't." He goes, "No. I want to work with you as much as I
he can
can."
do anything.
Yeah, he goes,
Yeah.
"I want the biggest part possible," and I go, "All right." So, I mean, to nab him is amazing, and he's just so
Does he have any
supportive.
perks that the fans can get in?
They
on?
already
I know
sold
he-
out. They already sold.
Oh,
They were
I
one of
can
the first
imagine
one
they
to
did.
sell. The scenes with there was a scene with him.
One of our most popular shows was Daniel Roebuck.
Yeah, he's
right?
fantastic. He's
Yeah.
so great.
Butch Patrick and Daniel Roebuck were on the show together.
We might have some things where people can come down the set and meet people and stuff like that. But we're going to be doing a live together where we'll be co-signing things together, maybe from Lost, or we'll be. We've got a lot of fun things planned. But if you watch the video on the Indiegogo page, his little commentary about asking for help is so creative, so funny. He's by the beach. It's hilarious.
So at this point, the film is definitely going to get
It
done.
is greenlit, 100%. We are definitely making a movie. I just want to make the best movie possible. I want to get paid rehearsals so I can look. I want to have really good acting. I feel strong, obviously, as an actor.
Right.
And a lot of people think of low budget movies and they go, "All right, well, the acting's not going to be great." I don't want to think about that. And so I've hired really good actors. Every one of them I've worked with. That was my deal with my producers. They say, "Oh, what about this person?" I go, "I'm only working with people I know, because I have to trust them fully." Because we were doing the scene breakdown. Danny has like 28 scenes, and the next highest up is me at 61 scenes. Wow. So I have to be on point. So I'm, storyboarding the whole thing right now. I'm getting that together. Then I'm going to work on rehearsals. Then I got to work on my acting, so the whole thing can run really smoothly and be of high quality.
Awesome. So how do our fans go and follow you so they can support your project?
At Sean Whalen Actor, that's on Facebook and Instagram. And then at Sean Whalen Actor, that's where I'm on TikTok is the biggest account I have. I have over 400,000 followers. Wow. And
show off.
Hey, most of my friends are over 1 million, so
right?
you know.
And I'm sure you're going to get
Yeah,
many more
I'll get there.
after this.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. That's all the time we have for tonight's episode of RNSU. I want to thank, special thanks to actor Sean Whalen for joining us live in the studio and just being
so
awesome. Can't wait to see the new film.
Thank you.
Crust. And for all of our fans for tuning in and your love, loyalty, and support. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media links. And for advertising, you can hit us up at Rock-N-Sexxy UnCensored.com or send me a direct email at amberlynnmedia@gmail.com. See you all next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to Amber Lynn's Rock-N-Sexxy Uncensored, available on rockandSexxyUncensored.com. Don't forget to hit us up on all your favorite social media links and tune in next week for another amazing episode of Rock-N-Sexxy Uncensored.